you lean your weight over that whole shin area, and you can actually get a bigger stretch by dropping down onto your elbows. Walk your feet further and further apart to get more of a stretch. You can relax down without tipping backwards, and then you can go into your full-on quadricep stretch, and then you get your other foot, put it on top of your knee, and that can add pressure back and down. All your weight's on it then, and you're rolling up and down. It's a lot more intense. Flexor stretch. Your hip flexors sit in the front of your hip here, and they drive your knee and leg forward when you're running or walking or climbing. Hi, it's David here from MyPhysioSA. I'm one of the partner physios, and I'm going to talk about how to stretch out your hip so that you can get rid of any tightness and tension. So if you're someone that gets stiffness or tightness through the front or the back of your hip, you could be a weekend warrior or a proper sports person or just an everyday person that gets tightness in that area, these stretches will be appropriate for you to do. If you've got a hip that's arthritic and really lacking mobility and acutely painful, well, these stretches might be a bit too strong for you, and you might need to see watch out one of our other videos that's got some gentler stretches in them. So these are good go-to stretches for when you really just have a stiff hip or you've done a lot of sport and you need to stretch it out. So this hip stretch is more of a hip joint stretch rather than one particular muscle, and it's to get your internal rotation of your hip improved. So lots of people who are athletes get very tight with their hip mobility, especially the ability to turn your hip inwards, okay? So if you lay on your back, crook lying, have your feet wide as far apart as you can, but have your knees touching, you'll start to feel a stretch deep in your groin area. And as you progress, you can actually walk your feet further and further apart to get more of a stretch. If it's one side's tighter than the other, you can take one knee away, and then you can actually push and put pressure on with your hand to make that one side that's tighter go even further to get a bigger stretch. You should feel it deep in the groin, but you shouldn't feel pain. So make sure you don't overdo this one, just stretch to that discomfort level. So this is the pigeon stretch, and we're trying to target stretching your butt muscles called your gluteals. And so the idea is you can do it on a bed or down on the floor, and you've got to try and get your underneath foot right up as far as you can, close to being level with your knee. You lean your weight over that whole shin area, and you can actually get a bigger stretch by dropping down onto your elbows and feeling it pull in the back of that front buttock. So we want to stretch the front of your thigh, called your quadriceps. You can lie on your side, or you can do this standing. You just grab your foot on your ankle, bring your knee right back behind, and keep trying to extend back, and you should feel it pulling through the front of your thigh. If you want to make this a harder stretch and stretch a bit more into your ITB, you can lie on your side, take your hand behind your back, grab hold of that foot, and then you can relax down without tipping backwards, and then you can go into your full-on quadricep stretch, and then you get your other foot, put it on top of your knee, and that can add pressure back and down. So I call this the pretzel stretch. It's a very, very good one for your quad, ITB, and right up here into these front and side hip muscles as well. Flexor stretch. Your hip flexors sit in the front of your hip here, and they drive your knee and leg forward when you're running or walking or climbing. So they're heavily used. So the idea is one knee, other foot in front, shoulder width apart. You're going to keep your back nice and upright, and you're going to lean forward, thrusting your hips forward and down until you feel it in the front of your thigh, tucking your tailbone under to get a better stretch. And to make it even stronger stretch, you can raise that arm up on that side and keep leaning down into it. And some people even get a better stretch when they lean a little bit to the side. As long as you're feeling it in the front of the hip, then you're getting the right muscle. So you can use a foam roller to release lots of different muscles all around your hips and your legs. If you lie on your side, top foot in front and putting a bit of your weight through it, then you're going to be able to isolate the ITB, which is a tough fibrous band on the outside of your thigh, and underneath that is your vastus lateralis, which is a really heavily used quad muscle. So you're going to be able to release both of them with this technique. With your foot on top, taking a bit of weight, you can roll through from the side, from about the hip level where that bony bit sticks out, right down to the side of your knee. So you're meant to do that for about a minute, and you try and find the worst spots. Don't shy away from them. You try and actually get in and isolate it. You can roll over side to side or along it. And once you get good at it and you can tolerate it, this top leg can go on top of the other one, all your weight's on it then, and you're rolling up and down. It's a lot more intense. And you chase down those knots and sore tight bits for about a minute. So I hope you found those stretches interesting, and there might be some new ones you haven't seen before. So when you're doing a stretch, you just got to make sure you feel a good stretch. So not a discomfort, not a pain. If you feel like it's too strong a stretch and it's painful and it reacts afterwards, you definitely need to make sure you back right off, just do them very gently. And if you're still having trouble doing stretches, there might be something else to it, so you should actually seek help. So get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you out. Thanks for watching my video. Hopefully those exercises are going to be helpful for you. Make sure you stick with them for a while, because it can take quite a few weeks of stretching to really get a benefit from it. If you need any help and advice, we're here to help you.